So the last time you and I talked, you spoke and you shared such an honest and emotional story in regards to little Avery. And I'm sure that your our conversation touched a lot of other mothers who have experienced what we've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've been thinking about you because I've thought about previous conversations that you and I have had, and I was so happy to have you actually talk about little Avery because I know how hard it has been. Like we have literally sat in silence. The plan was to have a conversation, but nothing came out, and we were both okay with that.
Yeah.
Um, and so even though we touched on because it was five of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I got
bits and pieces,
mm-hmm. But so I wanted to talk to you because before you wasn't really ready to talk about even though we friends already, mm-hmm. you still wasn't ready to give me mm-hmm. everything. So our last conversation, I found out that you didn't even get the opportunity to actually see little Avery off. Mm-hmm. And so when I went home, I thought about that and I was like, so I got a chance to see little Tyrone mm-hmm. and I got a chance to talk to him, mm-hmm. and look at him. So, and I was just like, I wonder what that would feel like had I not gotten that send off opportunity. I mean, you got hair and you didn't get to see your baby off, your only mm-hmm. son.
It was, it was multiple reasons why I couldn't see him. The way his body had decomposed, they didn't think it was good for me. You couldn't touch him. So really they just wanted to cremate him, but I'm trying to keep these emotions in talking about this, but we had to cremate him because of the structure of his body. And they just wanted me to send his body off without even seeing him. And I kept telling my brothers and I kept telling my husband, I was just like, I have to see him. I don't think people really understand how a mother will feel if she just wakes up out of a nap one day and I just tell you your baby is gone and you just have to take everybody's word for it. Your mind is just never going to be settled. There's just not going to be enough of your mind. So you just telling me everybody else is telling me my child is gone and I don't have any physical evidence that he's gone. Even though I know he's gone, but the fact that you can't actually see that his body is no more alive is very, I think that would have tormented me for the rest of my life. So I just kept begging, like, I just need to touch him. I just need to see him. And I think at some point the funeral home was like, okay, sign these papers. And you guys got to stay 3 feet away from his body. It was covered with a sheet kind of so that we can blurrily see him. That still wasn't enough for me. And I had to go up to him. I was like, I need to touch him. And they was like, we don't think that's you can't do that. And I remember just crying, like, I just don't know how I'm going to get over this if I just if my brain can't, connect the dots that my son is not here. And at some point, Michelle was just like, she lifted up the little sheet. She was like, you can stand right here and you can touch the top of his head. And I'm not going to say that's all I needed, because at this point, and it's so crazy that people don't understand like the little words and phrases that we use after your child's death. You're very intentional about not using little phrases. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I had some point think that's all I need. Nothing will be enough for me to not, you know what I'm saying? Nothing will be enough. So I just had to accept that. And that's why I asked for hair, just so I can have something to hold on to him.
I guess I was trying to process that at home after we talked, because I know little Avery personally. Like the last time I got the opportunity to see him, I was doing your nails, and he was there, and you was fussing at him about the baby, and he needs to do better. And Avery, you need to do better. I'm not going to raise your baby. And he said, Mom, you got 20. And so when I got the news, I was just like, oh my goodness, and Danny, I just want to know, like, because I know what I felt. I knew that Brooke, I knew I had another kid. I knew I had another kid, and I knew that she was only 11 at the time, and that she needed to be taken care of. And the pulling and the tugging, and praise God that so many people love us. I'm so grateful for that.
Yes.
And thank God for my sisters and my mom and them. But when you experience something like that and you sit around other people who haven't, they want something that we can't give. Right. And so what was that like for you? Because I know what it was like for me, because I just sit there like I'm watching everybody go by, and
living their lives, laughing, joking.
Well, we haven't even funeralized Tyrone yet, and everybody is eating and talking and socializing. It's kind of like, hi, like my son passed away. Like my son, I didn't even want to say he died. I kept saying he left.
Oh my God. The 3 days we searched for Avery, I did not want to think of it. Like, and then one time we found his sandal floating in the water, and I knew God had said he wasn't here, but I just couldn't. It's unimaginable. Like, I don't know if I tell people all the time, I tell my friends, because, we have some deep conversations, and I know they have never experienced losing a child. So how I get them to even get the slightest feel, I tell them, I say, when you hear about something dangerous happening and your child may be in that area and you can't get to your child, that sharp pain that's in that shoots through your heart, that you feel it. It feels like a spear. I wake up with that every morning.
Still now.
It's getting better, but sometimes it's so sharp that you lose your breath. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes your breath away. You can just be walking and it can hit you of a memory, and you just feel like that all your wind in your body is gone, and you just have to sit for a second and be like, this is reality for me now. And until your brain gets to that point where this is your reality, you can't even get over your grief until you start like, this is real. And then sometimes it takes mothers such a long time just to wake up sometimes, because sometimes you're in denial for months or maybe years. And you just wake up one day and, okay, I spoke to Ashley the other day. Spoke to Allie just this morning. Talked to Adrian. Her and Danny was here last night. And you think about Avery and you just be like, that's just a voice I would never be able to hear again. And then you just feel like, this is reality for me.
So when you got the news, Danny, where were you?
I had just had a procedure with my eye, and it was crazy because, and another thing that I beat myself up on so much. That's why when I hear mothers complaining about their kids, I just, I'm that woman that will look at you and be like, your child is here. You can fix that. You can go get counseling. You can help your child. I don't have those options anymore. So that day I had a procedure with my eye, and the doctor sent me home and told me to take the medicine that it gave me, put this gel in my eye, and just sleep the rest of the day because I couldn't open my eye. My son came, I heard him coming downstairs, and he looked at my husband and he looked at her, and I heard it because I wasn't all the way asleep. I was just a little drowsy. And he said, Mom, sleep? And he was like, yeah. He was like, okay, tell her I love her. I'll be back. I heard it. That was the last thing I've heard of my son. So that was probably like 3:30. I want to say about 7 something. My husband flicked on my light. He's like, hey, you got to get up. I was like, what's going on? He said, he never said anything. He said something happened to Avery. So I immediately grabbed my stuff and I ran. We jumped in the car. We got to the park, and all we seen was firemen out there. And I'm just trying to get answers like, what's going on? What's going on? It took me such a long time to actually get an answer that my son was probably, well, even though he fell in, they still couldn't technically, say he's gone. They have to wait till they find the body. So then that kept me hoping every single day that maybe we'll just find him somewhere. Maybe he'll just, maybe he just floated off somewhere and under a bridge, or, is trying to hold on. I don't know. I just had so many. We were renting boats. We were going under bridges. It was just a lot.
So this is just hearsay because I don't know. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Little Avery was playing around. He was in the company of a young lady, and he was swinging on a branch. And we know that little Avery is about how tall?
Like 6'4", 6'5".
Okay. Yeah. So the branch didn't hold him. And she's recording him. And he fell in. And I heard you say in a last interview that you didn't watch the video. But you can hear. I
have it.
You have it. Have you heard? Did you?
I can't watch it. Like I'll like some days just pass it, and then I want to click. Because he did it twice, and the girl sent me 2 videos. So there was one time he swung and she didn't get him all on. So he was like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. And she was like, okay. And then she recorded him again, and I actually see him swinging.
Oh, so they was, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that, I'll try to watch little bits of it, but I can never get to the point where, like, I think people have told me like you can hear a crack, or you can hear him entering the water when she drops her phone.
So who delivered the news? How did Lanell get the news?
And that was another thing. The person that he was with, we didn't know. So she only knew one of his friends. So she on Facebook reached out to his friend, and his friend reached out to his uncle, who is my brother-in-law. So then he called Joe.
She didn't call 911?
She had called 911, but she didn't know how to get in touch with us because she didn't know anybody in his family. So she only knew his friend. So his friend who was his cousin.
911 and all. Oh, everybody was already there when they were all there. Got there.
Yeah. They had already stopped searching at that point.
And another time when we were talking, you said that it was a man that was fishing. And he said, if your baby is in the water, he's right here. And I was sharing this with somebody because the the first podcast hasn't been aired. So you also said the water is so murky that the visibility is zero.
Can't see, but
So I'm wondering, so this is what my client said. Because we love God so much. Was that an angel? Because why was he fishing? Do people fish down there? I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the Milwaukee River. So I'm saying, do people fish down there? Do you see people fishing down? Have you ever seen people fishing down there?
I'm gonna tell you one thing, and it's sometimes people just.
She said it was an angel.
Listen. I was not alone when this man spoke to us.
Okay.
I was not alone. I had my cousin with me at the time, so I'm not crazy.
Okay.
That man had disappeared when we turned around. That man was not there. And I looked at Rochelle and I said, now, we ain't crazy, right? That man did tell us, because he was fishing. And I don't know if he packed up his stuff that quick and got out of there after we turned around to look and see where he was talking about, or the area he was speaking on. And we went kind of walked over there. So we walked back and he was gone. And this wasn't out. And I looked at Rochelle and I said, now we did see someone there, right? She was like, Danielle, we did. I said, and he did say this,
Danny,
right?
I'm saying this because you said the water is so murky, it's so disgusting. So I'm saying, how is he? Because I'm sharing it with my client.
Well, he said that because of the way the water dropped, that big objects, because it's like a whirlpool under there, they get swept under. So it's like an undercurrent that just sweeps big objects, like heavy things under it. And he says in that area, that's where he finds his bigger fish.
That's not my point.
I know what you're saying.
When she said it, and then I said the fisherman in the Bible,
mm-hmm.
and I got excited because
all like you were thinking the same thing. I was like, because
I wasn't thinking that. My client brought it to my attention because I was describing what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody is like, the clip is so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, T, where is the
mm-hmm.
actual? And I'm like, and Danny, and I'm like, I'm so impressed with Danny. I'm so impressed with Danny because I'm impressed with the whole thing. But I'm saying, I know where you come from. And I know how we sit and we was, all we could do was just look at each other because it's kind of like, this type of pain has no words. Like, we don't, if from a mother to a mother who sit in the same pain, we still don't have the words. So sitting with you guys before, when I went home, it was just, it feels so good because it feels so good to
be understood.
That I don't have to feel uncomfortable talking about my deceased kid, because I can talk about Brooke. I'm going to tell people, oh, she's 22 years old. She bought her first home she was at 22. I'm so proud of her. But then if I say something about Tyrone, it's kind of like
everybody just kind of just lock up. And it's like,
is she getting ready to cry?
Yeah. And then it could just be that they love you so much that they understand that you're hurting and they just can't take that. And it makes them uncomfortable. I understand it. But to us, it's hard because no one understands us around us. No one I'm gonna be honest. I used to get so frustrated if I'm crying and someone's like, what's wrong? I don't think you should ever ask a mother who's lost a child 13, 20, 24, 40 years later. Don't ever ask a mother who's crying what's wrong, because it's always going to be their child.
I just talked to,
nothing else can hurt you like that.
I just talked to somebody who's dealing with it, and it's 15 years later. And so I'm like, she said, I'm so angry. And I said, even now? She said, even now. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh.
I prayed for understanding. I didn't pray for that anger to go away, because I knew if I never understood what the assignment was, I know if God didn't clearly tell me what this was about, like I needed to see things move. Like I think when my husband surprised me with the system, the Buoy system, this system, he asked me, how did I feel about it? And I said, it was the first time I was able to take a deep breath without feeling bricks on my chest. And I just felt at that moment, I seen a purpose for my son's passing. And I think I was telling the girl who was with us last time, what was her name? I can't remember her name, but I said, you could find a way to turn your pain into purpose. And when that happened, I was able to breathe. Yeah, it's
I want to talk about that. That's why I asked for Danielle to be here. But I want to also touch on when you said the enemy tried to play with you.
Oh,
and you said that you couldn't be what your husband needed, you couldn't be what your kids needed. And what does that space feel like? Because you said something to your husband, you can repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, thank God for the kind of husband that I have that didn't take me up on my offer, because
right.
It's like, I'm not
right, because he wouldn't get none. Yeah,
because I'm
emotionally struggling. I don't have any love in here. Like, where I can find the love to give people, it was so much pain that you just didn't have the capacity. And I felt so bad for him every day. We have a sitting room outside our room, and he sat there every day. Our room was dark. He left the lights out in the sitting room while he watched TV outside, and sat outside the room every night when I never got out of bed. He cooked. He did everything. Babe, let's get up. Let's go get a bath. Babe, let's eat. Babe, he was just on me, and it never ended. I used to sit there and think, like, oh, this is going to end. He gonna get tired of this shit in a minute. Like, sorry, but he gonna get tired of this in a minute. He never did. And I remember at some point thinking, like, this is not fair to him. This is not fair. And I remember I told him, I said, babe, you can go and be happy with someone else.
That's what I wanted you to say.
Because I just don't think, I don't even know that person anymore. And now I got to find a new life in this new person. And you may not even like this new person. You know what I'm saying? You're like, this is a whole new person. And that was hard. I felt so, because I couldn't get up. I couldn't function. And he just watched me like that every day. And yeah. Whew.
And I love that for you, because that says to another mother who feels like that, and to know that there are men, real men,
mm-hmm.
who wouldn't use that as an excuse.
Ooh, yes.
To do whatever
mm-hmm.
he wants to do, because my wife can't accommodate me right now.
Mm-hmm.
They do it for less, but I'm just saying, like, he had a great excuse.
Listen.
and then you gave him the green light.
And I gave him the green light.
You gave him the green light. And now
he was offended.
And thank God, because we got a couple.
He was mad.
We got a couple of them that wouldn't be offended. She said I could.
Hall pass, like.
and then you have the twins. You have Allie. So little Avery is not the oldest.
Yes.
Hey, little Avery is the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
Little Avery, the twins, and then Allie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your oldest and your only. Same for me. And every time I hear that, like I love to say my only son. I'm Tyrone Keith Brown Jr. Like, I want to make it clear. I want to say his whole name. That's why what's little Avery's middle name? We're not going to forget the twins because they're here. We get to talk about them. They having babies. They got husbands. Look, Allie doing this. She graduating. She going to this. She going to that. We going to talk about, but we got to keep saying little Avery too. And I felt like, I was talking to my friend, And I'm trying to remember my friend got 5 kids. So I'm trying to remember, like, okay, and then what grandbaby belongs to this kid, and what, and then I say, and he get a little frustrated, and I said, well, you only have to remember Brooke.
Yeah.
And he says, no, I remember Tyrone and Brooke.
Yeah.
And then I go, because now I feel like, I don't want to forget either.
Yeah.
But it was a time when I wanted to forget.
Really?
Huh? Really?
Mm.
Danny, I told little Tyrone, I wish I never knew you. I wish I never knew you. I wish I never knew you, because I wouldn't know what this even felt like. I had to repent and thank God for him later, but in that moment,
I hate to break Theresa.
I
know how you feel, but
in that moment, I can sit on, me and my clients joke about it. Like I can just sit on the edge of the bed for hours, literally, like, and I can be stuck there. So when you say you couldn't get out of the bed, I know. And when I got the news about little Avery, I'm just sick. I'm sick for you, because I'm going, oh my goodness, another only son. It's just something about that only son that just not that we
I had to,
but I'm saying, like, not like, oh, she got 5 more sons, not that. But I'm just saying, it's just something. He's my firstborn.
I had to break that down to the girls, because they seen how bad I was hurting. And one day, when it got a little bit lighter, where we can kind of joke a little bit about Avery, we was out for lunch, and they was like, "Ma, it is okay. We know he was your favorite." And I said, "No, that's not true. Moms don't have favorites. The difference is he gave each one of you guys loved me different. And he is a man that loves me like a man that's in love with me without the physical aspect."
Sure.
And that is that love from, like, having a man love you out of conditions, with no conditions. That's what that only son is. Like, it don't matter who I am, he still loves me.
Oh yeah.
That's scary, because that's now gone. You know what I'm saying? Now any man in my life is always going to be,
but is it gone? Because we experienced it, and it's not, because I guess the first man that ever really loved me was my dad. And then my dad introduced me and my siblings to Christ. So another man loved me, and then little Tyrone's dad. But then when I got little Tyrone, yeah, so if this works out with big Tyrone, it's fine. But this gonna work out with this little boy.
Thank you.
This gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? So, like, oh, that was the best thing I ever did,
And that first son helps you grow up, though.
Quick.
Listen.
Nothing meant anything after that, because I'm like, I don't have to have another drink. I don't have to go to the club again, because I need to see about this little boy, and I did. He wasn't a latchkey kid. He wasn't trying to figure it out. I probably was trying to figure out too much. Like, my daughter tells me now, "Mom, stand down."
And I think
I got it.
I think that was one of the things that I battled in the beginning with God. And when you said that, I remember I asked you, how long did it take you to get to that point where you had to look at God? Because even though I've been brought up in church all my life and God has been in my life, I almost was still so angry that I didn't turn to him at first. Like, I thought I did. You still pray and stuff, but it's like now you almost have to survive this world, you have to 100% just give it to God. Like, there's no games.
Mm-mm.
I can't play games with
Mm-mm.
you.
Mm-mm.
I ain't faking this.
Mm-mm.
I can't. There can't. It's
Mm-mm.
life or death for me. I
Yeah.
can't fake this. To be able to not fall into depression, I have to be on this positive note all the time.
All the time.
I ain't got time for foolishness. I can't be around. I have to be in my peace. You know, it's not a game anymore.
Mm-mm. First,
And it's very hard to explain it.
Pray without ceasing.
Yeah.
Like I can't take a break.
No.
The only time that I'm really down is if I take a break. I'll know when I've turned my face from him and I'm trying to figure things out myself.
Because the devil can take you down.
Because then I feel discouraged. But I'm like, if I'm confused, Brooke goes, Mom, I'm so confused. If that's not God, because he's not the author of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never be confused in him.
Mm-hmm.
Never. So I know when I turn my face from him, because now I'm trying to figure things out myself. Now I'm all disoriented. I'm
angry,
and then
irritated.
I got to slow down and I got to say, wait a minute. And you know, who was that? Paul, Peter, whoever, when he said, come to him when he was in the water. And he said, you know, like I can't walk on water. And it's like, if you just keep your eyes on me. And that's how I remind myself. The only reason that I'm sinking is because I'm looking at the situation. Is if as long as I look at him, I can walk on water.
Yeah.
But it's the moment I take my eyes off of him, I already know this is a flesh thing. You know, it's not a spiritual thing. So when as long as I'm focused on him, as long as I keep my eyes on him, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's only when I take my eyes off. And that's not just with Tyrone, that's just with life.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm gonna go back and revisit the and not just for you, but
because it was needed.
Little Avery and for everybody. Like you said, I'm not that familiar with the Milwaukee River, but you said it's disgusting. And when you said
it took a neighbor in the area that came, and he asked me, he said, I have a drone, an underwater drone, if you would like to use it. And I'm like, at this point, money is pouring. Like our faucet, like money was just leaving our account at this point. We were renting boats, we was feeding people. It was just so much. And I was like, how much is it gonna cost me? And he was like, oh, I'm just offering it. And I was like, well, yeah, thank you. Then he brought his drone and he put it in the water. And he was just like, he showed me the screen, just muddy brown, just brown. You couldn't even see anything. He was like, I'm trying. He was like, I can't see anything. So that's when I seen it for my own eyes, how bad it was. I was like, how can we have this much water in our state? And so many kids are dying by this. Like drownings happening almost every year in the Milwaukee River. And
we don't know about it.
But we built our restaurants along the river and all of this, and people are dying. And all you had to do is it took my son for you to understand that you need something there to protect the people.
Thank you, Avery, for your sacrifice. I hope this don't sound offensive.
No,
but for a man to step up, that's not little Avery's dad.
My heart.
I thought that was so.
I wouldn't be.
I mean, I read his bio, so this is not like, oh, I'm shocked that he did this. I was like, I'm reading his bio. I'm like, oh, I just love just the bio. Like everything is in the community. Everything is help. Yeah. And I guess it was only his natural instinct to help.
That's him. Like people might have jobs that help people.
And he's 30 years.
But this is him. This is who he is
organically.
When he ain't working, he's showing up at young boys' graduations and graduation season. My husband is at every graduation. So I'll never see him on Saturdays or Sundays during the graduation months, because he's at every young man's graduation that he knows that's graduating.
So showing up for little Avery was just organic. That was just natural. And showing up for you too.
Yeah.
Thank God for men like that. We're so excited. You know, I guess so often it's male bashing, and I'm not for the male bashing. I love.
Yeah.
I have 2 children. I'm not
Right.
ashamed to say it, by 2 different men. I love both of them dearly. I have great relationships with both of them. I'm not with either one of them, but I love them, and great fathers and great men. And so we grateful for men like Lanell. And I want to, we don't have a chair for him, but we got to figure this out, because 30 years of doing what he do with the YMCA, just young people all together. But then he's at other events and
he's on
girls
several boards,
girls with for Pearls, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, the list goes on. And I want to know, what was the what did you do to did he get levees put up? What's down by the Milwaukee River now, that, and then you get an alert?
Yeah, he'll get notified. He knows when the fire department is notified when they scan I don't really know how all of it works. I'm gonna be honest. I've seen it once or twice, and I haven't been able, because my son's plaque is on one of them, and I keep saying I want to go down there and see it again. And sometimes I'll be like, I can't do it because it's gonna mess up my whole day. I'm gonna be in bed crying all day, so I can't do that. So I'm not sure. So he will definitely have to explain that. I think it's a way that you scan your phone.
Okay, well, let's talk to Lanell then. Let's find out. You guys can switch chairs. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. First, I want you to introduce yourself. I'm so glad. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you stepping up, not just stepping up for your wife and for your family, but for us, and saving lives. And Danny said that you get an alert when a life is saved.
Well, the way it's set up is, so
can you just introduce?
Sure. Lanell Ramey.
And tell us what you do.
So I'm with an organization called Mentor Greater Milwaukee. Been with them for 6 years. So I've been doing youth development, kind of what they call it, help work, heart work, for like 30 years. So organizations like Boys and Girls Club, where I spent a big chunk of my career, 13 years, Milwaukee Public Schools, YMCA, you mentioned earlier, organization called New Concept Self-Development Center, which was early on in my career, but what really birthed me into who I am today. But yeah, so I've been doing the work for a long time.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So this was like a no-brainer.
Well, so I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. What really happened was, it was very interesting. I was in the firehouse visiting and ran into someone who was a firefighter, and he was explaining the dive team. And I was like, I said, well, how long have you been doing? He's I've been doing the dive team. I think it's like 8 years, 10 years. His name is Trevor, firefighter. And I said, yo, I just really wanted to thank you and the team. And he was like, for what? I said, well, we had lost a son. I think it was a year or so at that time. And he was like, I remember that. And I said, so we just started talking. And I said, what can we do different? Because, I got to believe there's a way that a lost life could have been saved if there was something else. And we just started talking. And then him and the chief, Aaron Lipsky, who's a good friend, we just started talking. And Trevor just said, here's an idea. So really it was Trevor who thought about this, right? And then so we just put our heads together and started thinking about how to make it happen. Because at the end of the day, I wanted Lil Avery's legacy to be saving another life. So what basically it is it's a buoy system along the rivers where if someone is in distress or falls in the river, anybody can just go to that buoy, take the buoy out and throw it. But then there's a QR code where someone can scan to learn if they're confused or whatever. But once that buoy is open, the fire department is notified. So actually, there was several lives saved with this system since it's been put in place.
Beautiful.
All because they were set up. So I got to give credit where it's due. For me, it was just really about how to make sure Lil Avery's, passing, there was a legacy. And so the fire department and the city were very instrumental in making it happen. So we did some joint fundraising, some discussions, but it was something necessary. I think Danielle said it earlier around, people shouldn't be losing their lives, right, there where, you know, there's people that's just standing and watching, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we don't want people jumping in the water, but if you can throw a buoy and then still got the fire department to hustle there, that's save lives. So that's kind of how we got the idea. But it was really, first of all, in gratitude of me thanking them, because it was to have them on the river understanding like, yeah, this is not gonna be good, but they were still just, I think, patient with us as a family. So
That's so nice. I love that.
yeah,
I love that you got involved.
yeah, I'm a fixer. My therapist will tell me by my nature, like, you know, I don't look at things as like, and Danny will tell you this, like, if I can't fix stuff, that's actually when I go into a hole. I'm always trying to figure out like, I don't care what it is, like, and I will isolate myself until I can figure out a solution. I will, like I said, my therapist calls it, you think you can fix everything, a fixer, right? So that's my mindset. Like, I'll figure out how to do something. And seeing her go through what she wanted to and the family, I wanted to bring joy as a whole too, you know, just them seeing that, listen, yeah, he lost his life, but he's going to save lives now. So
What was that like though when you watched her?
It was tough because of being a fixer, right? You want to be able to say, hey, I got this. You're going to be fine. But, you know, I can't imagine that, like, you know, just the isolation, you know, like she was saying it earlier, you know, yeah, that was her first born. She may not say favoritism, but I understand that connection, right? Like first, and then the only boy, they were like similar in so many ways, from fashion to art stuff, which I don't know nothing about. So seeing her just struggle with life, that was tough, and not being able to, like, I think, for lack of a term, throw a lifeline, right? Like, and to try to make it better in an instant, and I had to realize like it wasn't going to be something that can, you know, be fixed overnight too. So I just had to sit back and be patient. So,
And that's really something coming from a fixer.
mm-hmm.
You and you a man, and
Yes.
you the head of the house too.
Yeah.
So your natural instinct is, I want to help.
Right.
And then to be in a position where I can't help
At all.
like all you could do was watch.
Yeah. And again, the flip side of all that, I'm not the most patient person in the world. So, you know, having to, you know, not have a solution, or like, let's just keep it 100, like, you know, and say the wrong things, thinking I'm saying something good, right? Like, hey, don't stop crying, or don't do this, like you'll be all right. Like, those are insensitive words that I had to learn, right? Because, you know, watching her, again, to her point, like lights out, you know, even to be descriptive, like, you know, dark time, you know, she in the bedroom, lights out, blacked out, 2:00 in the afternoon. And I don't know how to sit still like that. So again, doing things that were insensitive, not even knowing it, by saying certain things, right? So I had to learn just to shut up and just, like I say, go, like, give her space, right? Let her heal in her own time, because everybody deals with grief differently, right? You know, and everybody has
How was that, giving her space when this is somebody, because Danny is affectionate,
mm-hmm.
and she's a loving person,
Mm-hmm.
and now you not getting that,
right? And
what kind of space do that put you in as a man? Like, what would be your advice to a father watching his wife, because everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
Everything changed.
Right.
Even the Danny that you had prior to little Avery being here, this Danny that we see today is a different Danny.
Right.
Because this is a Danny that navigates through life with this constantly in the back of our mind. So like we was talking before, and Danny said it's like a superpower.
Mm.
And we can use it to our advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
A lot of stuff can roll right off of us. Yeah. And it can, I guess it could be helpful in relationships, but it can also be harmful, because it's we can kind of shrug our shoulders at a lot. Absolutely.
I think advice wise, one, you know, prayer, right? You have to lean in on God, because again, it's you know, seek not their own understanding, right? And I couldn't, being someone, because I lost my mom, I think a year before that. And so, who was the center of my work. And so I had to figure out ways. But because my mom was a teacher who servant leadership was what she believed in. That's why I think everything I did started to have a bigger uptick in service to honor her. Right. So I was able to individually honor like that trauma for me by being busy, if I can say it that way. For Danny, it was like, you know, no matter how busy I was, it wasn't going to help her. So the advice is for like people is to understand there's nothing you can do. You know, your patience is your best attribute, right? Your ability to, I think, what's the word I want to look for? Your ability to step up when they can't do the thing. Like she mentioned cooking. Now, I love to cook, right? I love to cook. So, but I didn't want to cook every day, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't want this to be my
job. This ain't my job now, is it? Like, now I'm inventing meals. Like, wait a minute now. But jokingly, I had to learn, like, hey, listen, she has to learn to live again, right? The hard part, really, more so than any of this, is Avery's trauma unearthed other traumas. So she now had to not only deal, I think, with losing, you know, a piece of her flesh. Now she mentally is, now everything is coming out. Because now, you know, you're seeking therapy to kind of help me get through this, finding out what the other stuff was too. So now that's a whole nother journey that people I don't think understand. Like, trauma unleashes trauma at times. And so when you battle a loss, like physically, then emotionally, now you have to kind of figure out what are the mechanisms to build myself back up. Now you realize, oh, I can't build myself back up this way because now this affects it. That affects it. Oh, this happened. Oh, this is why. Now it's putting a puzzle back together that you thought was okay. And then somebody say, nah, that piece don't really go in there no more. So the advice is literally understanding they're not the same person. Mm-hmm. It's a brand new puzzle. Mm-hmm. It's brand new pieces. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, you know, it's the same person. But now you're like, wait a minute, wait. This piece wasn't there 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 8 months. Okay. So what we doing? Like, you know, you got to ask those questions. And patience, prayer and patience were, I think, the two key. But I also realized, again, as a fixer, what can I do to start to help bring peace? Right. So, yeah.
I love that. And God used broken pieces
all the time.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful because it shatters everything that we originally knew. And who, you know, like my sisters was like, I just want you to be happy.
Yes.
And I said, I am the happy that I can be. Mm-hmm. I am that. I'm the happy that I can be without my son being here. When it's Christmas and everybody makes a big deal because I really don't want to come, but I go ahead and come anyway. Right. And everybody's kids is coming in and everybody's son's coming in. And my son is not coming in. I know he's not coming in. You guys know he's not coming, but you guys want me there. And sometimes I think that other people stop focusing so much on what you want and kind of grant what we want, because we're doing the best that we can with what we're dealing with. You know what I mean?
I think that's what I meant, right? Like when I say, well, I would say things that would come out insensitive, thinking I'm doing what I can for her. Right. Like, so when I think even to whether it's your sister, and we have family, like we have some family that just say things, but they trying to say it to give you the rah. Right. I've learned not to say nothing. I'll be honest. Like I've learned, like I try to gauge where she's at before I say certain things. I know how, like I said, with my mother passed right on Easter. Then so on Easter Day she passed. So every year I battle with prepare for Easter, then Mother's Day, because Mother's Day was right afterwards, and then her birthday was in August, like so kind of like that. So I get it, like there's triggers, whether it's a date, whether it's driving past, like even for me, like I don't even think sometimes when we're driving downtown to get food. I remember one time, this was a few years back, we drove past the river right near kind of where Avery fell in. I'm just, again, tunnel vision, we're going to eat. I'm talking, we get 100 feet and like we're laughing, joking, and it was a switch. And again, insensitivity is what's wrong, right? Like, and you know, versus, and you know, and I try to do better. I still want to always say what's wrong, but I want to allow her the opportunity to cry, because I do feel tears are cleansing regardless. You know, happy tears, sad tears, there's cleansing. It releases things out of your spirit. So whatever you got to do, cry, let it out. But I think, again, insensitivity is, okay, here you go again. Or,
yeah, we're trying to have a good time. And
yeah,
now
here
you're
you go
crying,
again.
right?
Like, and you be like, are you ready to go? Hey, we ain't got to go. We turn around. Like, yeah, I've learned to do those, even if it's hard. Don't get me wrong. There's times I don't want to turn around. It's times I don't, but I'd rather her peace building, at least let me attribute to the peace building. And what I mean by that is not only inner peace, but piece by piece get you whole again. And if that means go home and I got to frown up and sit on the couch and watch the game or whatever. So
you don't be frowned up, do you?
Frowned up 24/7. Like, listen, I ain't gonna lie. No, I will.
You can't be.
I know it's
listen.
And that's the journey. Again, the advice is I have to learn that for myself is like she's healing. I'm trying to help her heal, but I figure there's a lesson in this for me as well, right? And whatever that
you impatient.
As they get, and I realize that, right? And like,
has this helped you become a little bit more patient?
I think it has, because I think it, you know, what's happened is in those alone time for both of us, I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm looking in the mirror saying things like, okay, what can you be doing different? Because fam, you can't keep just, you know what I'm saying, getting upset. So what you gonna do different? So I had to have conversation with self in order to do that, right?
So sitting outside the room,
yeah,
how
yeah,
I'm trying to visualize that because that's so sweet. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't so sweet for you.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong.
I want to be in the room, but okay.
Well, yes and no, right? It wasn't always in outside the room just to be like, okay, I'm gonna give her space. Sometimes you went outside that room upset, right? Like you sat there like, man, you know what? Let me turn this game on. Let me turn this movie on. Let me do, you know, it. But again, it's part of the process. You know, the one thing, you know, and I'm thankful for our pastor Evolve, Kenneth Locke, because like when you're talking,
Kenneth Locke is my cousin
too.
too.
Like listen, he won for the ages.
I know. I know.
Because I remember calling him and I was crying. I was like, bro, she down God. And he said to me, and you think she wasn't? You think there wouldn't be? Bro, no, you don't understand. Like, nah, I don't think you do. Like, right? Like, and so those moments were again lessons, you know, and I failed some tests along the way. You know, I got a couple of D minuses, you know, but I do feel like it's forced a mirror in this because it's made me relook at trauma and how trauma impact people so differently. Like I said, you know, losing my mother was like, I didn't think I would ever recover because of just of our closeness. I don't think my mother died suddenly, right? Like, so
like your mom wasn't sick?
She was healthy. I mean, she had some ailments here and there, but she was healthy. They said she had to rush to the hospital, and then 3 days later, she passed away. Like, it was like the weirdest, craziest, like, nah, this can't be real scenario, right? So I was battling, but again, for me, the fix part was easy for the trauma because all I had to do was work. All I had to do was stay busy. I mean, at that time, I think I had just joined the Fire and Police Commission as a commissioner, even though everybody who I knew was like, man, don't do that. And I was like, nah, I'm a servant. I got to serve. My mother would want me to serve, taking over mentor and leading the charge. My mother just passed that summer, actually, and I took the job that summer. Like,
and the resume continues.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's like a lot of the push was kind of to lift her name and to be that servant leader based on that. So,
and look at Daddy, she's so proud.
Someday when I introduce them 24-hour days, and she'd be like, okay, enough is enough. Another event, another this, another that. So, but yeah, I get it though. I understand fully.
Great leadership is so good because you said your pastor and Pastor Kenneth Locke is even though he's my cousin, I don't have the relationship with him that I have with Pastor Marlon Locke.
Marlon Locke too. Yeah,
Marlon Locke is my pastor.
Okay.
And he did my son's service. And he was, and Danny apologized. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. I was going through my own thing, and I'm like, oh, Danny, everybody that was supposed to be there was there. It's fine. But he was so proud of me, and I'm like, okay, I guess I didn't really understand. He said like the way I conducted myself or the way I behaved and having to put my son to rest. And I don't know decent and in order way to do it. You just do it.
Right.
You know, I couldn't mimic anybody. I didn't know anybody who had done it.
Right.
So it was just something that we just do. And great leadership is good, so that you able to go and talk to, and you have access to him. You know how that, because you guys have a big congregation over there.
Right.
So you have access to him. But
well, I don't think and to your point with leaderships, and in particular spiritual leadership, and we called him to come down during the search for prayer, and I never forget this. So he came down. We did a family prayer, and he left, and he prayed, and part of his prayer was like, Lord, enough, right? Like give them the peace. And literally, I think it was an hour later, that's when Avery appeared. And then we called him back, and he came back. Ooh, he was like, and he did the funeral, the homegoing. So yeah, words can express.
Yes, I love it. My pastor too, Pastor Marlon Lock.
And Marlon's that's my man. So absolutely.
I mean, I
he a singing preacher.
I don't know how they do it.
He a singing preacher too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. My pastor can sing.
Yeah.
Yes, he can. And I'm so grateful for his leadership, because I think that without that piece,
facts,
it would have been big trouble.
Facts.
Big trouble
Agreed.
for us. Like, if you don't know God, if you don't know, sure, how wouldn't you be able to talk? Yeah.
It was like a whole year. Maybe like, I don't know. And it could have been when he was going for his stuff. So he was preaching on it. And I really did.
This was the most part to your point, and everybody that may hear this listens. You said a key point. If you don't know God, this is the time. And here's the thing that Pastor Locke said. I never forget.
You better come on, better come on and speak up for these men. You better come on.
And here's the thing, and like Pastor Locke said, you don't have to be what you think it means to have a conversation with God. Just talk like you talking on the corner when you mad. You need, like, whether you gotta say to God, yo, bro, I need help. And that's the thing. I think as men, like and I'm gonna go back to your point of like husbands who may deal with the wives and feeling this disconnect, whether it's the physical. I heard you all talking about the physical being eliminated from the relationship. Well, the point of the marriage had nothing to do with just the physicality. It was supposed to be, being able to being connected spiritually as well. So again, thinking about getting to know God, it's just being able to talk to God in the realest format. And that's where you start. Like, just have a real conversation with God in your own voice. Not in some made up, thou this. No, like, God, talk to me, please, because I don't know what the hell to do. Use the real words, and he gonna figure out from your heart what you mean, and then you can move towards becoming closer to deal with whatever grief is happening in the family. And again, I'm not saying this is easy. Danny might have painted me to be something I don't feel like I was at no point in time. I just feel I had to stay solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's her perception of you,
and that's good.
And I'm grateful for it. And we need to hear it, because we already hear all the bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when we get a God-fearing woman who, I know she's being honest, and that's her take.
Yes.
We want to hear it, because we want to hear all the bad stuff. You put a post up and you say,
facts,
he beating on me, and then everybody want to call you and text you and I'm praying for you.
Facts.
But then he bought me flowers, and one person say congratulations. Nobody's interested in that. So yeah, if that's her take on you, that's her perception of you. I want to hear it. I'm here for it. I love it. And I'm grateful for men like you, because it says to a single women, they hear. It's a real thing. It's a real, everybody ain't playing in your face, so and my whole client's tale was a conversation with myself and my clients. It was never supposed to be about my son. October 9th, I cried and I had an epiphany that I'm like, I just wish I could just talk to my son. And then Danny and the other one ladies was dropped in my spirit, and I just went in that direction. And I said, well, I like your plan better than my own. So
Amen.
yeah, I like his plan better than my own. And so I never intended to talk to men. And when Danny brought you up, when she mentioned you, and I just loved it. I love that you're a stand-up guy. It is what it is. And then when I asked for your bio, and I'm like, okay, all right, I just stand up at home, but stand up in the community. Let's go. So now I'm going, let me call my son father, and because you guys have a side too.
Yeah.
But that was never my focus,
Sometimes you know where God gonna take you,
we don't.
because this can be healing too, right? Like,
Yes,
to your point,
it
your
is.
son's father, like sometimes just having the conversation becomes the healing part.
And being a man does not exclude God. Like,
Amen.
you honor him.
Amen.
You saying, I am the man that I am because of him.
Mhm.
And you don't have trouble with leadership. Even though you're a leader, you don't have trouble with leadership.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You saying Pastor Kenneth Block showed up for you guys, and I think that's great. And like I tell my daughter, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And every time we get the opportunity to do that, it's a gift.
Amen.
And that God owes us nothing.
Right.
But we owe him.
By his grace.
We owe him everything. And my question, and I ask my clients too, what will you do with your gift today?
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Lanell.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for loving my friend.
Amen. Yes.
You give me hope. I love it for Danny. I mean, wow. Now we're not recording anymore, Tom. We done. But I'm saying, like, man, it just struck a chord when she said, I'm like, hey, go find happiness, do what you need to do for you, because this is the best I'm going to be able to do, and I don't know for how long. And you said, I'm gonna sit outside this room frustrated. And the Bible says, be